Hi guys, Maikeru here. So this is a video I honestly never thought I'd be making, but due to recent events and a lot of things leading up to now, I feel like I want to take a little break from RuneScape 3 and give old school RuneScape a try. But please do watch this video before commenting or freaking out saying I'm quitting RuneScape 3 or whatever. I won't be fully quitting RS3, I just kind of want to potentially cover both games, similar to like what a friend does where he bounces between different games, and I'll have a bit of a bigger focus on RS3, but currently as it stands with like no content to really engage with, I'd rather take some time out when I'm feeling burnt to focus on old school and then come back to RS3 when we get more content, explore that content, make videos on that, and bounce back to old school kind of thing. I want to do both. You may be thinking that I'm just overreacting to Hero Pass, and Hero Pass caused this burnout for me, but it's definitely not only the Hero Pass, and it's a lot of other things Jagex has done leading up to today. So in this video, I'm going to explain all of my thoughts, all of my feelings, and then have a cool reveal at the end that will hopefully get some of you excited. I know not everyone cares for old school, not everyone's going to watch my journey, but I want to make it fun, and I'll explain more about that after I've explained my reasoning for taking a break. Firstly, with the elephant in the room being Hero Pass, we all know how that went. I've already made a video on that, we've spoken about it, and they have gone back on their decisions after ignoring the community originally, and then figuring out that they probably should do something about it. I honestly just think that was like the last straw for me, causing some pretty major burnout, which is very, very rare for me. I've been making content on RuneScape 3 for like 7 years, and I've only taken one break in that time, and it wasn't even for that long. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. So let me break it down. When looking at Necromancy as an update, it was pretty damn good, but they killed all of the hype they had on release of that skill by giving a major update to MTX. Releasing the skill with not that much content post 95. Honestly, there's like nothing that you can engage with post 95, making this skill a little bit of a 99 skill with 120 slapped on top of it. The only things you really unlock after 95 is some glyphs that you can boost to anyway, and some crit damage. Like, yeah, obviously you get a bit of accuracy as well for your level going up, but that's not really unlocks, that's just a bit of power creep. The skill itself felt good to use, but it also felt incomplete. Jagex released Necromancy with the promise that it'll be polished after release with the Necromancy season. And then this Necromancy season was going to give a bunch of updates to the skill and upgrades, improvements, everything moving forward. Yet we won't be getting anything until October, and that's only going to be a quest, alongside being 2 months after the skill release, just a quest. 3 months after, we do get a boss. But that is not a Necromancy only boss, that's just a boss in the game. So I want to take you back to the start of this year where we had a huge content drought leading up to Necromancy. But knowing that Necromancy was coming and it was in the pipeline was enough motivation for me to keep grinding. But now with the release of the skill being 6 weeks ago, and knowing that we won't be getting any new content for such a long time, even though it's the Necromancy season and they promised a bunch of stuff to us, it kind of feels like Jagex has just been talking the talk recently, but not really acting on it. And a lot of goodwill has been built up over the last months, and now this goodwill is starting to feel more and more like lies. And the new skill isn't the only thing that feels like it's being rushed. There's so many other things that felt really rushed recently for Jagex. The quests they've been doing. The most recent quest had really bad storytelling, the writing wasn't good, you could tell it was really, really quickly done and like rushed out because of a deadline or something. The reveal for the raptor wasn't even like any type of emotion there because they kind of just sprung it on you. The puzzle during that quest was lackluster, not even engaging or fun either, it was just a copy-paste slider puzzle. There's so much to the game that loads of players really enjoy, but it's just getting worse and worse over time. And then in addition to the content that we're getting, slowly getting more rushed and less polished, we're also getting more and more MTX and MTX content buffs, making this game feel more and more like a mobile game to me, and that's not the game I want to play. All of this alongside that intensiveness of MTX updates increasing and them trying to monetize more than just XP, it's just taken away from my favorite game's integrity I already kinda, knew that there wasn't that much integrity in XP in RuneScape, so I kinda just sucked up a lot of those things, like the 20% Yak Track buff to XP. Yeah, it wasn't that crazy bad because it's just XP at the end of the day. XP is meaningless. They made new Proteans, which were completely destroying the economy for like Herblore and stuff, completely messing with all of the prices because people were making Herblore XP from thin air. And like those Proteans are obviously way more overpowered than the old ones because they have the MTX power creep. Same with the essences and everything, making runes go skyrocketing in price because people aren't creating as many runes as they used to. There's a whole thing about it. I have like a video on the Proteans, I have a video on the Yak Track. I expressed my concerns while these things were happening, knowing that it could get worse and worse in time, and it was just waiting for those floodgates to open. The floodgates opened, in my opinion, on the release of the MTX die. The MTX die got a lot of people very aggravated and upset. Jagex said themselves on streams that they weren't going to release more dies in the game until they made a better way to actually dye armor and make it feasible to release them at a better pace. So we all just didn't expect any more dies, but then they slap it on an MTX update, which is crazy to me. And it just devalued clues so heavily. The first die being the Aurora die looked so much like an ice die. The ice die literally halved in price. In addition to the ice die crashing, the other dies like shadow dies started crashing as well because it always kind of needed to be underneath that price. And in addition to that, like people just didn't want to spend that much on a die when they could get a fancy new shiny die for a third of the price of the old ones. It caused so many issues and ruined a lot of content for a lot of people by devaluing it. And then after all of this feedback that Jagex had about people disliking these things, they went and done a second one anyway. Again, not really listening to the player base and continuing to juice the game for as much money as they could. That second die, being the soul die, it made the prices go down a little bit. So they further decreased the value. And then they buffed the soul die to look way better than a lot of the other old dies by revamping it, and then that caused them to crash even further, including the Barrows die this time because it looks so much better than the Barrows die and was a similar price. It was like 200 mil. Why pay 1 bill for an ice die that technically looks worse than a 200 mil MTX die? That content is now devalued. Actual content in the game that isn't XP is now getting devalued. The hero pass was so disliked because of the content buffs, reducing damage taken from PVM. That's a huge thing, and then it devalues that type of content that you wouldn't MTX. And a lot of people's argument for MTX on RS3 was, hey, look, you can't MTX bossing, you can't MTX clues, you can't MTX these things that people do, and that means it doesn't really matter that there's some MTX in our game. But that's all changing. Now you're going to be able to MTX anything, and then all of your achievements feel devalued. All of your achievements feel way less worth. That's my biggest issue, and that's the biggest thing that started to cause this burnout over time for me. Them introducing more and more of these things that are just making my game feel less worth playing. And then on top of all of this craziness, Jagex are promising to do better. They have Mod Doom come on the team. Mod Doom seems really good for the game, and he's starting to be the people's voice. They're starting to do in-game polls. They're trying to get us involved with the game more. And then as soon as they ask for our feedback on something like Hero Pass or, MTX-related updates, they ignore it, and they post the updates anyway. And it's just crazy how much is just hollow words, They're not actually listening, and they just want to make as much money from RS3 as possible and milk that game. The Carlisle group is selling Jagex. They're probably looking to cash out as much as they can before they sell Jagex, and obviously that's looking to be the case with all of these things. It's pretty crazy how things are going right now, and it just makes me very, very demotivated to even log on at this point. Everything is a slippery slope, so obviously the buffs weren't that crazy bad this time round, right? They just skipped some clue steps. They done damage reduction only for Zami. But when you look at how it used to be for MTX, look at the walkover rides. The walkover rides when they were first released were a bingo card. You would tick off the bingo card and you could do it all without spending a penny, and you could get the zombie walk. or you could spend a little bit on bonds, but it wasn't that crazy expensive to get skips for it and get your zombie walk that way. Now it's a 1 in 10,000 chance from the treasure hunter, which is absurd, right? It's gone from being potentially completely free to now you have to spend stupid amounts of money. That's going to happen with these content buffs, and I can feel it. So I kind of want to speak with my platform and, me just not really playing the game and playing the better alternative without this type of MTX to just have my voice heard. I'm not going to speak by just saying things and continue playing the game. I'd rather speak and show Jagex that I'd rather play a game without these crazy, outrageous MTX stuff, just for the time being at least, until they calm down. So I'll be taking a step back from RS3 for a bit, but I will still play RS3 on updates and stuff like that, because I don't want to completely disregard the game. The game has, so much sentimental value to me. It literally is my job at the end of the day, right? But I would rather sacrifice some of my job for my integrity and my sanity when I feel this burnt out of RS3. So this leads me into my announcement. My announcement is that I'm going to be playing Group Ironman mode on old school RuneScape with a bunch of RS3 content creator veterans for the first time ever together. We're all going to be playing old school RuneScape blind. We're not going to look up guides and stuff. We're just going to play the game and go ham and discover things together and then, compare it maybe to RS3. So there's been a lot of players that have come from old school to RS3, people like Waydots and Dark World Order, who have done really successful in that, comparing old school to RS3. I kind of want to do that, but flip it on its head and compare old school to RS3 as a RS3 player and not an old school player. I want to go in with an open mind, and I just want to enjoy the game for what it has to offer and see what things RuneScape 3 could take from old school and maybe even vice versa, and just explore that fun content and showcase it in fun ways in videos. Together with the other 4 members of the Group Ironman, who are also RS3 veterans trying it for the first time, it should lead to some fun experiences. I think we'll even run hardcore Ironman mode, where you have lives shared between the team, 5 lives for 5 people. I could lose all 5 of those lives myself, and it could lead to some fun content. I'm just looking for something fun. I'm not looking to be efficient or crazy or go absolutely mental on it. I'm looking to enjoy myself and just explore, discover, and, have a laugh. So in the next week or so, I'll probably start making some of my old school RuneScape journey videos on this channel. And hopefully you guys will enjoy my journey and, watching me play and watching me discover. And maybe it'll even entice some of you to give it a go as well. I know not everyone's going to care for the old school RuneScape content, and don't worry, I still will be making RS3 content like I said. I'll just be taking a little bit of a break and giving old school a go. I won't be revealing the other members of the team yet, but just know it's going to be an absolute banger with some super fun people from the RS3 community getting involved alongside me, exploring something new. I'm super excited for this, and I honestly can't wait to start my journey and then come back to RS3 with a bit more motivation on updates and stuff, because I always say you can tell when someone's enjoying themselves in their content, right? And if I'm not enjoying myself and I'm severely burnt out, my content will reflect that. So I don't want that to ever happen. I want my content to remain fun, exciting, and enjoyable for you guys to follow along with. And as always, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. Give the video a like if you're excited for the old school series to come. And yeah, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. I understand it's not for everyone and some people won't like it, which is completely fine. But I'm going to look to do both and just get a bit of the best of both worlds and have a good time. Thank you all so much for sticking with me for this content creation journey that I've been on for the last 6-7 years. And the fact that I can, stream and make videos and it can be my living is a dream come true. So I thank you all so much for that. And it means a hell of a lot for the support that you guys give me. Whether you're going to continue to support or not, thank you for everything that we've done going this far. Have an absolutely great day, morning, evening, wherever it is for you. And then also consider subscribing if you're interested in the series. And until next time. See ya.